It's time to blow this scene. Get everybody in the stuff together. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
Just gonna get into it. And boom, what's up? Welcome back, goddammit, to another edition of Tell Me a Joke, the guy out and chasing the dream. I'm your host of Maniacal, Menace, Kyle Smith, and today, today we got the heavy hitter, the one that's out here on the ground running. He ain't stopped ever since he's been going. Put y'all hands together for Tyler Arceneaux.
Hell yeah, thank you.
Bang, 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 bang.
Young Funny.
Yes, sir.
Back in the building, man.
Yes, sir.
I remember the first time I saw you in Baton Rouge at the station.
Yeah.
You came to an open mic. John Rowe was with you.
Yeah.
Maybe
good old
even
John
Kamari
Rowe.
or something. I was young in comedy back then. I was like, man,
Ages ago.
these guys are something.
Yeah.
John was special, huh?
Yeah, he was.
Oh.
Yeah, he was. That's the reason why we just gotta keep going, man.
That's it.
Gotta keep going for the homie, because shit, it's a rough game out here.
It's
when
hard.
it comes to these comedy streets.
Yeah, I'm about to hit 10 years. You're
Yeah.
you're at that, right? 12, something like that?
Yeah.
It's a long 12, huh?
You're doing it good for your 10, though.
Thanks,
You're doing good
man.
for your 10. You just we talked about it briefly, but you just came back from, well, not just came back, but you had a little run in with Skankfest.
That's right. Yeah, I got accepted to Skankfest this year. It was the best.
Yeah.
There's no comparison as far as comedy festivals go.
Yeah.
I've done a few, and what makes this one so special is they pay you.
Yeah,
It's great. Yeah, it
that's
doesn't matter
awesome.
who you are. If you got accepted to the festival, you are paid. You are given a hotel. They give you travel. They
Oh,
pay for your
wow.
plane ticket. And
Hell yeah.
most importantly, you're treated the same as every other comedian on that show.
Yeah.
Like on the whole festival. Like you walk in that green room and everybody looks at you with respect because you're one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, I shook hands with people that like are my heroes.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is crazy. And they're like, yeah, they just like look at you with like an understanding.
Right.
Of
You
like,
get
I
it.
know where you've been, you know.
You're in the promised land now. You got your foot in the door.
You know, I've met a bunch of national touring comedians. I'm sure you have too, being in New Orleans, right? People like Sean Patton used to go
Yeah.
through there, still does, go through there all the time. So you meet these guys and they're great. But whenever you get to experience all of them being great at the same time, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It makes for one of the most magical weekends in comedy.
Hell
no
yeah.
doubt.
How many people are on the lineup?
90 comics.
So
Yeah.
this just goes over for days?
Yeah, I did 3 shows. There's like 5 or 6 different stages at this venue, the one we did in Vegas. And there's a smaller stage where starting at 11 a.m. and ending at like 1 a.m. the next night, shows go. And it's not like a show. It's like a comedian gets up there, does a set, introduces the next comic, and that goes on for 12 straight hours.
Oh, shit.
It's incredible.
God
Yeah, so
damn.
at any time I was feeling like tired of walking around, I would just go sit in that room and watch people, because you're
Yeah.
just watching 8-minute sets. Just
8-minute
see people
sets.
from all over the country, just all day,
Hell
nonstop
yeah.
comedy. It's incredible.
Oh, that's awesome. How did you get part of that? How did you
Submit
become
it.
part of that? Yeah?
It's a free
It's a
submission.
Get the fuck out of
It's
here.
free. That's what's so magical about just getting accepted is crazy too. And my story of being accepted is a little funny too, because I got accepted and I did not read my emails for a few weeks.
Oh, shit.
So I missed the deadline to accept my invitation.
Yeah.
And the one of the directors reached out to me on Facebook, added me on Facebook, and reached out to me and was like, "Hey, I saw your tape. Your tape is good. I want you on Skankfest. You're not checking your emails. I'm assuming you want to come."
Right.
So, I'm just
Oh,
trying to
that's
reach out to
dope.
you. And I felt like such an idiot, but that person's name is Rebecca Trent. She owns the Creek in the Cave in Austin.
Yeah.
And for her to do that, she
Yeah.
didn't have to do that.
No, not at all.
Thousands of comics submitted. She could have been like next. And just like, but she reached out to me and made sure I was on that festival, and I'm eternally grateful to her.
That's tough
when I
about
saw
putting in
her,
the
I was
footwork.
like, when I saw her, I was like tearing up, and I like shook her hand and gave her a hug. I was
Thank
like,
you so
yeah.
much.
You're
Hell
the best.
yeah. God, you have been like I said, hit the ground running. Like you've been doing. I mean, 10 years still. That's around that time of that 1,000 hours and putting your time in.
Yeah,
but how difficult is it? Because you also have a child.
Yeah. Well, just being in Louisiana is hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got a new podcast all about this called We're Dying Down
Here.
And it's
sir.
It's just about how hard it is. You know, I mean, that's not the only thing we talk about, but you know, the stories of just, you know, doing comedy in places where comedy is not normally done. Right. Right. And then building a scene from scratch. Yeah. Being a part of that. Right. Yeah. A small part of a big machine, of course. And that is the Lafayette comedy scene. But it's hard because you look at these comedians in New York. We talked to Caitlin Palufo. She gets to do 30 sets a week when she started. God. 30 sets a week if you want. I do sometimes 2. Yeah. Right. And it's like, so your progression is a lot slower, but we make up for it in ways. The talent and we're not like the scene's smaller and it's not so cliquish. So everybody lifts each other up. Yeah. There's a lot of mentoring going on. You know, that helps some of it. I've been trying to tell people that the best scene to grow in is Louisiana. Like I've been other places and everything. Hence why I'm in Texas now because like growing up in comedy, like people were told, oh, you need to go to California, listen to other people because you don't know. There's no guideline of this. So people's like, oh, you need to go to either California or New York if you're trying to make it. Before things became like, oh, just, you know, internet, it really gets you where you need to be. But at my time, I was just like, fuck it, this is what I need to do. I need to go to California and I need to go see if I can make it out there. And then I went to California and that was John's dream. So I'm like, all right, let me go follow the homie's dream. Boom, I get out there and I'm like, this ain't what the fuck? This nigga's lying to me. Like, what is happening out here? The problem is that being talented, that's just the barrier to entry for this. Yeah. That's just the minimum requirements to do this. Talent don't take you nowhere on its own. At all. You have to work hard. Yeah. It has to be all that you think about, all that you care about. And if it's not, it's going to be a long road. Yes. You know, and it's hard. There's definitely plenty of times in my life when it's not my sole focus, and there has been before. But right now, it's like it's number one. Yeah. I mean, you know, I got my kid. She always comes number one, but she's at that age where she don't even want to fuck with dad most of the time anymore. Like she don't care. Like she got, you know, she's a preteen now. She got friends. They talk on the phone. Yeah. Come on. So I'm getting a little bit more freedom, right? I can take some more gigs, feel a little less bad. Yeah. Miss a couple soccer games, which I never used to do, man. Like, never. I am about to be in that boat of the beginning of that stage right there. I got a little one coming probably next week. Oh, so, man. Congrats. Thank you, sir. Awesome. Y'all excited? Yes, I am. That's awesome. Yes, I am. But also in the back of my head, I am like, this dream that I'm chasing, it feels like it's about to die. It got farther away. Yeah. It's not going to die. It's not dead. And I'll tell you why it's not dead. Because you can be 70 years old and do this if you want. Shout out to Andy Huggins. That is a perfect example. You know, plenty of people make it late in life. Joey Diaz, he never became popular until he was like 55 years old. Right. You know? I think that now more than ever, though, because I had that dream to move to LA too when I first started. That's what I thought. Like you said, people tell you that that's what you got to do, LA or New York. No, there's no in between. People like Sam Talent and Ali Sadiq have proven everybody wrong. You can be in a smaller market and go work on the road and spend time meeting people, developing relationships, being good and honing your craft. And you can pop from where you're at. Right. It might be harder depending on what kind of market you're in. Yeah. But like I said, people like Ali's never left Houston at all. Right. Stayed right here. Yeah. He's one of my top 5 favorite comedians in the world. I think he's one of the best. I've watched both his specials, Domino Effect 2. I'm waiting for the other one to come out, and Don't Judge a Book by Its Cover. I just finished that one, and I'm like, you out here just killing it, sir. Captivating. Yes. Yeah. Not many people do it better. It has gotten me to the point to where I'm like, damn,
listening to other motherfuckers and see where I'm at now, which I don't mind where I'm at. I love where I'm at. You know, it's gotten to me to the point to where, you know, I got a house and a wife and fucking land.
Yeah,
you know, that's
awesome.
Before I
don't
became
have that. I got a condo I pay rent in, you know, and a mom.
I mean, before I became a comic or even thought about what comedy was, I always thought about, you know, I wanted to live the American dream, fucking a house, a kid, wife, and a dog and shit like that. And like that is there, you know, but then comedy came and, you know, it threw a monkey wrench in that whole little thought process that I had. And I'm like, cool, well, okay, I want this, but also I have this and I need to take care of this. You know, this is going to come, but, you know, it's coming at a price now. And it's just, it's mentally, it is like just a samurai sword to my brain. And I'm like,
What do you do?
I'm an electrician.
Yeah.
So,
well, I guess so. I know that's what that came off as, but what I actually meant is, so what do you do about it from here?
Oh, well,
you know what I mean?
What has been happening is I've kind of morphed my comedy into my poetry.
I've seen you popping off on poetry. I saw some of your shit. You have bars.
Yeah,
I was laughing, man. I love that.
And so, like, they don't have a silly side when it comes to poetry. So I've kind of created my own lane when it comes to, you know, actually bringing my comedy in other places. Yeah, which is really helping, which is getting me gigs and everything. But you know, it's not Skankfest and paying me or nothing like that. But it is something to where, like, I was able to do the improv. And I was able to bring my comedy poetry to the improv, and people be like, I ain't never seen this shit before.
That's crazy.
This is amazing, you know, but still, like, it's new to people. So people are like, all right, that's cool. But, you know, you don't have the backing or nothing like that to go ahead and say that, oh, I'm going to go ahead and book you again or anything. So, you know, it's something different, and it's something that I feel talent wise is really up there. But like, I'm still not able to capitalize on it like I want to. But it gets me places. It gets me places.
I think it's very interesting that there wasn't comedy poetry.
Yeah, it's strange.
How is that not really a thing?
Well, there's people that do it, but just because... Just like with comedy, how people were like, oh, you need to be here, you need to be there.
Sure.
Like with poetry, people will always just assume it needs to be this and it needs to be that. And then, you know, I come on the scene and people are like, you know, I just heard somebody talk about how they got diddled when they was a child. And now you come on talking about fucking grandmothers and shit. And it's like, what just happened? You know? So I bring a sense of silliness to the stage. And like, the only way that comes is because I was a comic. And so now more people are seeing that.
You're essentially still doing stand-up.
Yes.
Like, just in a different way. You're writing punchlines. You're writing jokes.
Yes.
That's what I love about some of the tangential art forms. Battle rap.
Yeah.
That's stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
Dude, because when somebody says a rhyme or a line that that it pops the crowd, that crowd's laughing.
Yes.
Or like this. Oh my God, I can't believe they said that. Rap is like that too. Just, I think the comparison between hip hop and comedy is something I love, and I always love to talk about. You know, you people like Lil Wayne. If you don't think Lil Wayne's funny, get the fuck out of here. That dude is a comedian.
That motherfucker is silly as shit.
Yeah.
He is.
I just love that. I'll tell people all the time, like, rap ends in punchlines.
Yeah.
Like, that's what every line is. Every line that you're like, oh, even if it's not making you laugh like a punchline, it's making you think.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's one of the things where I'm like, all right, I know since I'm not capable of making it in this scene right now, just because like of the responsibilities that I do have. And like I said, like, I stay out in the sticks. So, you know, I don't have the luxury to be able to just, I can walk here and walk there. Everywhere I go is a 45 to an hour drive. And then I got to drive through Texas drivers.
You got to make it count.
Yes. And open mics do not count. Not out here. Not for me. They don't.
I've heard there's a couple that are worth going to, but outside of that, it's tough.
So tough.
Yeah.
So like it feels like I've backed myself into a corner of this maze that I'm trying to traverse through, and it's just like, okay, all right, backtrack. Where do I go? And so I've kind of like brought my own little sledgehammer and just busted through the wall, and I'm like, boom, okay, y'all see me here, you know. So now y'all see me here. The reason why this is because I do this, and so like when I would come on and I tell people like I'm a poet and I'm also a comedian. I'm a comedian. I'm also a poet. This is why this happens. And so comedy, poetry, and then it blows people's mind. You know, and
I
so
love it.
yeah, I've had to do something, and with the talent and you know the know-how that I have from being raised as a comic in New Orleans, like there was no way that I'm just going to be beat down by me not being able to be seen. You know, and I'm of the
it's
age.
easy to do that.
Yes.
It's easy to just go,
right.
ain't nobody seeing me do my stuff, so
Just give up.
it's hard to keep doing it and then find a way or a lane to make yourself stand out.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
you know,
I couldn't. I'm not a. I know that the socials is really what's helping people get ahead and all that, but you know, I work a 40-hour week. So
me too.
it is just like I can't, if I don't have anybody to actually give me any assistance or anything like that, wanting to always be on the internet is just tiresome, and it doesn't feel as if it helps me mentally. Like I'm like I can't.
So what you just said, I think, is the most important part, and that's what I've learned very recently because I cut up my own video, edit my own reels. I do the captions by hand. I don't use caption programs because I don't like them. I like the way they look when I make them by hand. So it takes me like 2 hours to make a 1 minute reel.
Shit.
I do all that myself.
Yeah.
And so every single day, if I'm not like on the road, I'm at home, I make myself either write or make reels or do something. And it's so time consuming, but I work 40 hours a week. You know, my daughter plays competitive soccer, so we travel constantly. Yeah. She's a beast. She's going to be so much better of a human than I ever was and will be. So,
I've been trying to expand on what I'm doing. So I've in the process of me just kind of like sitting around thinking of things to do. I've picked up crocheting.
Okay,
and so,
that's cool. little knitting.
Yeah, I've started crocheting some hats. So you know, when I do go places, I have some type of merch that I can go ahead and sell.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it is. That there itself is time consuming because I have a machine. I have a Centro 48 needle. But it like if you don't know what you're doing, you can have drop stitches, slip stitches, and shit like that. And I'm like, oh, you gotta fix that because if not, that shit'll come out looking dumb. And it's like, well, I can't sell this. You know, it should look like some toddler made it. Yeah. So that there is another thing that takes up all my time, and it's just like, all right, what do we like? Basically, what I preach on here is just like, man, don't give up, keep going.
That's it.
You just got to keep going.
Perseverance.
Yeah,
it really is. It's because I'm going to say a couple things that are generalizations, but mostly true. Mm-hmm. If you put the time in, you will get better. Yeah. If you put the time in, you will get booked more. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There are generalizations, of course, because unfortunately, a percentage of people will not get better at stand-up no matter what they try.
It's so weird.
Yeah, and some people are going to get better a lot faster than others. Yeah. I think the most important thing to do is to not get caught up in comparing yourself to your contemporaries. The people who started with you or the people that are around you currently, comparing yourself to them, that's not why you're doing this. And if that's why you're doing this, then that's the wrong move. Yeah. You know, good luck. I would tell somebody to find something else. Yeah. That, that isn't as taxing. Because if you're just out there measuring your worth versus other people's, buddy, you got a long life. Road.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes. That's how I felt when I was out in California. Just being at the Comedy Store before, the pandemic came. Like, I was like, my life has been, like, basically it's kind of set itself to where it needed to be because I have a very good judge of character and I can read energy really well. Most comics can. Sure. Especially reading the energy of a room and such. And being out in California, I realized that, this is not where I should be. I realized that immediately as soon as I got out there. Like, as soon as I got to the Comedy Store, I'm like, you niggas ain't trying. Dang. You motherfuckers are just out here waiting for the next person to pop off so you can go ahead and be under their umbrella and hopefully they take you with you. take them with you. And it's like,
the thing is like, it's such the wrong approach for that to be your goal.
Yeah.
Your goal should be to be a great comedian.
Right.
And that is a side effect of being a great comedian. Somebody sees you and takes you on the road.
Yeah.
That happens when you become a great comedian. That doesn't happen because you want somebody to take you on the road.
Yeah.
So they're focusing on the wrong things.
Definitely. And it was a whole lot of that. And every time I would go certain places, I would feel that that dark energy. I'm like, well, y'all motherfuckers is just out here stealing shit. Y'all just out here taking what's not yours and trying to capitalize off of that. And I'm like, I can't be. And people saw my life kind of gradually take its toll on being in California. And I was like, you know, people look at me on FaceTime and shit and be like, man, you don't look happy, man. You good? I'm like, yeah, I'm good, man. You know, I'm in California. I'm out here. I'm trying to make it, you
Living
know?
the dream.
Yeah. And then people like, nah, man, you need to come home. I'm like, I ain't coming back. I left for a reason. I can't come back. I'm going to feel bad about myself because I didn't. Yeah. And then the pandemic hit. And
Were you
everything.
there for the pandemic?
I was there right before. Before it popped
you left
off.
before,
Yeah.
So because that must have been a terrible place to be during the pandemic.
Yeah,
I mean, I heard horror stories.
Yeah, I have friends that are still up there. They're like, it's terrible out here. When you coming back? I'm not coming back out there, my guy. Like, what the fuck are we doing? I see what the hell's happening.
Yeah, just text me, ask me how we doing. Don't ask me stupid shit like that.
I'm like, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. I'm down here doing what I gotta do. And so, like, as I left, like, things got really bad because, like, I had friends, but some of the friends that I did have, they were just like, yeah, I need help. And it's like, all right, cool. And I'm like, yo, any suggestions? Can you throw me a bone? Nah, man, I ain't got no bones to be throwing. It's like, yo, for real? Like, you don't, being from New Orleans and coming from how we grew up, like, everybody is there for each other. Yeah. So when you go another place and realize that that's not, they're not the way you were raised, it's a bit heartbreaking because it's like, I've felt this before, but I didn't think this would happen like this. Yeah. And so for that when things like really went to shit, I was like, oh, all right, I gotta go. There's no way that I'm gonna just be able to keep staying here. Like, and then one thing happened after the other to where I'm like, oh, this is the universe telling me that, nigga, you need to leave. Like, you don't need to be here no more. And I was like, oh, okay, all right, I got to dip. Like, I was doing electrical out there. I was able to go out there and live at least a good hard 9 months. A good hard, damn near almost a whole year. Just fucking making it by actually, I got an electrical job within the first 2 weeks. So doing electrical, that was able to pay for whatever I needed to do out there. But not too long after, things started happening. I had to get a new car. Fucking the people that I was working with, they was able to give me money to get a new car, but then it was a fucking lemon, so that thing didn't last too long.
Domino effect.
Oh, yeah. Domino effect like a motherfucker. And then just boom, one thing after the other. That car broke. I had to wind up trying to catch the bus to work with all my tools on and shit. And then that started work. That didn't happen well enough. And then it was like, hey, and then I worked for an all Hispanic company, and so I was the only minority there. So if anything fucked up, they're like, he did it, And so it's just like, okay, well, this is not cool. So after a while, it was like, well, you fired. And it's like, damn.
It's pretty funny to be in a place where you work with a bunch of Mexicans and they're not minorities.
At all. I am the minority. I get looked at with people when I go on certain jobs. People like, man, what you doing here? I was like, nigga, well, I don't know. How you got this job? I'm trying to figure that out right now. I'm still trying to figure this out. Apparently, my credentials is good enough for me to go ahead and work with them. But as soon as things fucked up, they like, oh, you don't speak what we speak. This nigga did it. And it's like, damn. So eventually that shit happened to where I had to go ahead and pay them back for the car. And then they was like, we'll give you your last check. And it was like $20. And it was like, that was it. Boom. Holla, man. I'm like, oh, no, I can't I got a dip. Like, so I fucking packed up my entire room because that's all I had. I didn't have like an apartment or anything like that. I paid $900 to stay in a room inside a house, which was
LA life. Baby.
Oh my God. Like I've never lived with people before that I've never known. Like I've always stayed with people. Like before I left New Orleans, I stayed with Paul Joseph. Shout out Paul Joseph. But other than that, like, just to move in with people that I ain't never seen before. We ain't never gonna talk. We don't have a rapport or anything like that. Like, that was out of my comfort zone. And I understood that. I was like, well, it's not me sleeping in my car. So this is what it is. This is what I'm gonna go through so I can chase this dream. Like the hardships that I'm gonna have to deal with. This is cool. I'm with it. I'm down for it. And like when you ain't got no friends in the place or family,
it's tough.
Yeah, that makes it like real tough.
So you went back to New Orleans from then?
No,
or you went straight here?
No, that's why I'm here. Yeah, I got family out here, so my dad was like, "Man, just come on home." I'm like, "All right." So
I love Houston comedy.
Yeah.
I told Joshua Jordan, shout out to Josh. That's the apartment we're sitting in right now. Letting us use his space. I told him he wanted to move. And he was tossing around the idea of Austin. I was like, you don't want to go to Austin right now.
Nah.
Austin, unless you're already like have some connections, Austin's going to be harder to break in, just as hard as LA or New York.
Yeah.
Because they've got 4,000 comedians that just moved there, and they only have 1 million people in that city. They have a lot less shows than a city overall, like Houston. Houston has 7 million people that live in the metropolitan area. They have 400, 500 comedians to compete with instead of 4,000.
Right.
Houston, you get just as much stage time as a young comedian as you can in Austin, and it's arguably the same quality stage time.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of good clubs out here. So
yeah. And leaving from California, you realize you're like, oh man, the competition is thick out here. It ain't competition at all. Like them motherfuckers suck.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people suck. So you can really wean out like who's actually going to make it and who's actually just there just to try to skim off of somebody else. And so like that, it make me feel so bad because I'm like, oh, I thought because this is California, this is LA. I thought everybody was going to be on
even
the
the
echelon.
micers. Yeah.
No, not at all. And
it's same percentage.
Yeah.
Same percentage of shit to talent.
Yeah. And
man, honestly, I saw that at Skankfest. I saw people that were sharing the stage minutes before or after me do like 10 minutes of silence. Yeah. I saw really bad comedy that was booked there. Or what'll happen is everybody had a +1, so you can bring a guest. And sometimes the comedians miss their spots if they're like the smaller spots. Yeah. They'll just be late or whatever. And sometimes one of the guests can just get up and do it. So I saw people that were just guests of other people doing comedy. And it was like, some of it was bad. I honestly felt like a straight up G when I was out there.
Yeah, it ain't for everybody. It ain't for everybody. Even though everybody wants to do it because it seems like the it thing to be doing at this time. I don't know when it became the it thing. It just
podcasting.
That's what it is. And I'm glad, like right after I left from LA, this is when I started the podcast. So I wanted to, because I've always listened to podcasts before I even started comedy. So I knew the ins and outs of what to do and what not to do to actually become a comic and what makes a good comic just by, what I first started listening to was Your Mom's House and Joe and all that.
Same thing, man. Same thing. I did that before comedy.
Yeah.
So like when I started comedy, I knew to move the mic stand.
Yeah.
I knew not to wear shorts. Even though I did. I never believed in that rule. I still don't. I wear pants now, but
hell yeah.
I still
it
don't.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. The
I
clothes
see a lot
don't
of
make the
funny
man.
people in shorts.
Yeah.
A lot of people slinging good zingers, and I can see their calves. So.
Motherfuckers down. You shouldn't be sitting down on stage or whatever. Ali sits everywhere he goes. And
that's true.
He is killing it.
Yeah, honestly, I think talent transcends that rule. But when you see a bad comic sit down, it makes you feel kind of funky, like, right?
What are you doing?
It's like, come on, dude, stand up, please.
Get up.
Stand up and bomb like the rest of us, you idiot.
Ain't no shortcuts over here. That chain gonna help you out. Yeah, it really you really see the transcendence of where people could be and what people are when they actually put the talent in. Like, not everybody has it. So if you are thinking that oh, this is gonna be a long, hard road. Just think of those people that ain't talented.
That's
you
right.
know, because there's a lot of
work
motherfuckers
harder.
out there. Yeah. And
They gotta work harder.
They don't even want to put the work. They don't even want to put the hard work in. There's a dude that's out in L.A. that I've always shouted him out, but I ain't gonna shout him out this time just because he sucks still. And he's always been like, yeah, sir, we gonna do this and we gonna do that. He only calls me on Facebook, but he got my number. And it's like, I don't like, when you coming back out to LA, son, we gonna do this and I'm gonna put you on the stage and yeah, we gonna make these moves and make those moves. I'm like, no, son, this not New Orleans no more. Like, he has a mouthpiece to talk his way into anything, which is amazing. But when he gets there, he doesn't have the talent to back it up.
Bro.
And yes.
You have to tell me who you're talking about.
Kenneth Ha Ha Harris.
Okay, I don't
there
know,
you go.
but
Yeah.
that's funny.
It's okay. He has not gotten any better. He tucks in his cardigans and he wears he's a 6 foot nigga that wears too small pants. It's just like, why haven't you gotten any better? He never put the work in to get better, but he's always said that, oh yeah, I'm this, I'm that, I'm such and such. It's the Dunnigan-Kruger's effect.
Yep.
And it's just like, son, I'm not gonna be the one that you can rely on. So you're not gonna be able to ride on my coattail. Like, I'm trying to make this myself, and to say that you want me to be the guy, I'm like, nigga, Jeff Buck is out there. Go get on one of his shows if you can. You still got to put the work in though. Like, don't. He's like, oh, I don't know who that is. I'm like,
shout out to Jeff.
Shout out to Jeff.
Shit happen.
Hell yeah, he is,
Bro, every time I see one of them lineups, I'm like, oh,
how you doing this? I used to go ahead to downtown LA where he's working at. He works at he's a cheesemonger, and I used to go down there and I used to go skate around downtown, and I used to go hit him up, and he would fucking go eat. I would go eat lunch with him and shit, and be like, yeah, man, what's good? Yada yada yada. You still on the same path, trying to do the same thing and everything. And after the pandemic, he stayed and I left. He was like, nigga, why didn't you hit me up, man? I could have helped you out. I'm like, man, it's cool. I totally forgot that I didn't forget that he was out there, but I was just dealing with so much that I didn't want to bother him with it, because we got out there at the same time. And so I'm like, man, I don't want to bring you into this negative energy that I have going on.
Right.
You got it going well, man. You right there in the heart of things, and now look what he's doing. He's got all these big ass lineups.
I know.
On that show. And I remember when he first put that show together, like, it was just
the patio.
Yeah. I've done it one time since I was out there, but that was just because it was very difficult for me to get out there. Like, I had a little beater that that the home that the job gave me. They gave me money, and I was just like, oh, first car, I want me a stick shift, yada yada, not thinking about it. I should have known when the dude was passing the title over that his hands were shaky. He was like, oh shit, he's buying it. Oh, here you go, boom, I'm out. And he disappeared
and rebuilt.
Yeah, never heard from him again, man. I had a 4-cylinder, only 3 of them bitches worked. So all the hills, oh man, that bitch was button trying to get up the hills. It was terrible. I would coast everywhere because I'd be able to put that bitch in neutral and just boom, and just hope that I can go ahead and coast to wherever I needed to go. And that's kind of where the poetry side came in, because I was like, well, this comedy shit is, I can't normally get it out to all of these shows. And when I do go to these shows, it's this shit that I got to deal with. They got the gatekeepers and the people that like, oh, if you don't know this person, then you can't get on here. And I'm like, well, fuck all that. I know these poets. Like, I can go ahead and get in with them. And that's when I realized that comedy poetry was going to be a thing, because I stood out and I was able to win some not win competitions, but get into competitions, and people be like, who the fuck is he?
Right.
Like, what is this? I mention this a lot, but I like mentioning it. I was at the Poetry Lounge out there, and that's when it's a big poetry place where, like, apparently Ed Sheeran was found. That's
cool. Was he a poet?
He would go to this open mic, and he would do his little acoustic guitar thing, and
That's
then
cool.
Boom, somebody saw him there because it's LA, so there's Hollywood magic that happens. Boom, you can get signed damn near anywhere you go, because you don't know who gonna be in the audience, and there's always people in this audience like you in the round, And from that little spot, I was able to go to a few secret house parties, which was nice. I was like, you know, a place where they lock your phone up in the garage and shit. I'm like, oh shit.
Poetry, but more poetry stuff.
Yeah, poetry, but still,
like it's a whole big scene out there.
Yeah, cool. It's a big scene, but it still ain't nothing compared to Texas.
Yeah,
like Texas poetry scene is
that's crazy.
Yes.
I had no idea.
See, that's the thing.
Is there a bigger poetry scene than Texas, or is it like one of the bigger ones?
The way that poetry out here works is it's a community.
Yeah.
Like out there, it can be a community, but not everybody is on the same accord. Like you got like the little clique over here and a little clique over here, and then you have the people that's just trying to make it on TV over here, but they also write.
Stand up has the same shit.
Yeah,
people who want to be actors and they think stand up's an avenue to do that.
Yes,
I hate
exactly.
That.
So you don't have somebody that's just dedicated just to the poetry aspect of it. But out here you don't have any of that. So you don't have all of the outside fucking
industry.
Yeah. To try to block you from what you're doing. So the people that are in this poetry scene, it is amazing.
That's
like
awesome.
There's so many people that are just like really talented. I've seen the places that this poetry scene has taken me, and the people that I have seen blows my mind. Like there's this dude, his name is Obi West. He sounds like Denzel, and his poetry it's full of double entendres, alliterations, and the way he speaks is if Denzel is talking to you, but it's poetic.
Yeah.
And it hurts my brain.
Like if you told AI, hey, have Denzel write a poem. Yes. That's cool. That's cool.
But it's on a different level because I ain't never heard anybody do poetry like this before.
Got it. So he's got something special. And he sounds like Denzel.
Yeah. Oh, man.
A man on fire, you could say.
Kind of sort of. Yeah. It is so good what he does. And it hurts my head because, you know, there's something that I've never seen, and I'm like, I didn't know that there was this level. You know, I knew that there was levels, like, boom, you know, you go ahead and level up, and then you see, but you think that there's a cap to the level, and then you see this motherfucker, and I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Like, what level are you on? Like, I didn't even know. You're a different boss.
Your scouter broke.
Yeah. Basically. I'm like, I can't even read this guy.
Poetry's over 9,000.
I need a new scanner, goddamn it. I can't read him. He's come from a different planet. So to be able to see this guy, and he's so good that he has a residency in Vegas.
What?
Yeah.
And he lives here?
No. He lives in
he's
Vegas.
from there. Got you.
Yeah. No, I don't know where he's from.
Got you.
But I've seen him on the show, and I was just like, he was sitting in the back, and I'm like, man, who this dude is? Because he was dressed different. He had like a long kind of trench coat on. He sat with his feet like this, like both his toes pointed.
He's autistic.
It was very strange to see. He got up on stage. He came with his own mic. I'm like, look at this nigga here coming with it. How you come with your own mic, nigga? We all gotta have to use the same mic.
It's
Man.
germs, you know.
Yeah. I wasn't ready, and then when he started to speak, I was like, "Ooh, hold on, okay, I see you." And all the women, whatever he was talking about, if you caught on, all the women, nigga, they were just gushing, just sploosh. I'm like,
just sliding out their chair.
What? Sliding out? There was no chair that had a woman in it. You know, everybody, all of them was on the floor. I was like, wow, sir. Like, did you see what you did now? I had to check my drawers for a second. I'm like, no way.
Jeez.
No way you doing this. Yeah, and I like, hey, kudos to that. Because, like, I've seen poets, and I've seen poets that are really good until I seen this motherfucker. And I'm like, of course you paying your way with poetry. And that's what the poetry scene is doing as well. They're trying to get to the point to where it can also just sustain from just their
because
work.
it's got to be a harder art form than comedy for sure.
Yes,
because just as far as making it, because name a famous alive poet.
Exactly. It's very difficult.
Yeah,
like I don't know. And besides, besides thinking of deaf poetry with Russell Simmons, like you can't. I don't know anybody from there.
Yeah.
Like, besides
Maya Angelou was the closest.
Yeah.
Like like modern day poet that was famous. I feel like
you can't. There's nobody else that I can really even think of to put in that type of category. But I know a lot of poets, and so it's just like, oh,
they got to sell books. They're essentially more like writers than comedians or actors or anything.
Yeah,
because they're probably selling books of poetry.
Yes,
that's what professional poets are doing.
That's exactly what they're
selling
doing.
books.
Yeah,
I didn't think about that. They're not like out there performing at Madison Square Garden.
No, not at all. And well, funny thing, Ali Sadiq, because he's from Houston, he put people on from Houston. What he does when he goes on the road, there's actually a show that he has that he's put together that's got like Dion Cole, fucking some other comics, and there's one poet that he takes with him, and his name is Seven the Poet. Now, Seven, he can hold his own on the comedy stage.
Okay.
But he is a poet. Like he has the Poetry Lounge down in Houston, the Poetry Lounge Houston, and he's been doing it for over like 20 years. And so he's an established poet that is like paving the way for that genre, but also like it's his show. So when you do go, if you ever do catch the Poetry Lounge show with Seven the Poet, he does it every Sunday, and it's just like a regular open mic. Boom, he brings up regular poets, but in between time when the poets come up, he does his thing, and he is silly as shit.
Yeah, it's funny.
I in my head, because I beat myself up about this every time. Like the third time I was supposed to be going to the show, Ali Sadiq was there, and I was like, man, fuck this, I'm not going. Not because I saw Ali there, just because like the way I felt when I going there, I'm new to the city, so like I didn't put my time in, so I didn't feel as if I was being loved like I should be. So I was like, fuck that, I'm not going, and I didn't go to the show. And I see all my friends, they posting everything, and it just so happened Ali showed up there, and I was like, God damn! And he did a comedy set in between the poets and shit, and I'm like, motherfucker, like, God damn, me and my ego,
you missed something magical.
Yeah, and I've met Ali once. I believe it was a show in Alabama when I was, or it might have been L.A. I don't know. My ex, she had got me tickets to see Ali. And Ali is so goddamn cool. Like after the show, like we was able to see him, and he stood out. He greeted everybody. He was like, "Thank y'all for coming. Thank y'all for coming." And I was like, "Hey man, thank you." He's like, "Hey, what hold on." And I was like, "What?" He was like, "Hold on, man. I'm gonna holler at you." And he told me, put me to the side real quick, greeted everybody, and then nigga, we chopped it up for like 20 minutes. I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
He knew you were a comic, or
I told him.
Maybe. Oh, you told him. Okay, yeah.
I told him, I was like, yeah, I'm a comic, yada, 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 yada. Yeah, he was like,
let
hold
me
on.
get this out the way.
Yes. And I was like, get the fuck out of here.
Get these normies
son.
out of my face so we can cut it up. That's awesome.
Oh, dude. And he was like, hey, man, I'm looking for you, son. I'm like, and it felt like that was my time to be like, hey man, remember me? I'm out here doing this shit, and I didn't, because in my head, my ego was like, no, nigga, this nigga don't need to see your talents. Fuck that shit.
So I heard you tell Grady this, and I think I'd like to try to change your mind on this, because you talked about how you don't like to ask for shows.
Yeah,
there comes a point when you've earned it, and if you don't recognize that you've earned to be booked and you're not asking, you're just doing yourself a disservice.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're a new comic, you should not be running up to producers asking for bookings.
Right.
Right. But you're somebody who's been doing comedy for 12 years. Also, I know you have a tape somewhere of you doing a good set.
Yeah.
Reach out to producers of clubs that you want to work at and be like, hey, I'm a comic. I've been doing this X amount of years. Here's a set. If I appreciate your consideration either way.
Yeah.
That's what I do. That's how I got at Riot. That's how I got at Secret Group. I just found out who booked him, and I was like, hey, I've been doing this 10 years now. Here's proof, because I've worked hard on this. Here's a tape. Here's proof. It's the same thing as submitting to a festival.
Yeah.
You're like submitting to the producer. The producers are like, I'm not like putting this on any specific producer, but just comedy in general. Everybody is so focused on themselves first and foremost, that if you start taking it personal that you're not getting booked, it's going to be tough. I think that there comes a time when you've you have put the time in and you've earned the right to ask for bookings, and you're there. Yeah, I've seen you for years. You're there.
When I talked to Keisha, that was one of the things that she told me. Shout out Keisha Hunt. She's like, "This is what I do. Like, I don't got no job. I sit down and I make my emails. Boom. I email all these people, and some people might hit me back, some people might not hit me back at all. But I got all these out there already, and boom, look at this. I got booked for this. I got booked for that. I got booked for that, and bang, now I'm working. And I'm like, oh shit, yeah." And so I've started to actually do that more now.
There is something to that want of being like, I'm going to be a great stand-up and make it all on my own merit. I'm not going to shove my nose in anyone's asshole to make that happen. Yeah. But then there comes a time when it's like, all right, I've put all the work in. Now it's time to go on job interviews. Yeah. Right? Because you can build up your skill set. Let's use electrician as an analogy. Mm-hmm. You're not gonna get a job sitting at home waiting for an electrical company to come hire you. That's true. You gotta go put your resume out there and apply. Yeah. So when you reach out to these bookers, it's like a job interview. Yeah. And some of them suck and they won't reach back out to you. Yeah.
That's and I've been before all this, the baby and all that came, I would put out one little feeler and it'd be like, oh, why they ain't hit me back? And it's like, nigga, you can't just assume that this one person.
It's like throwing darts. It's like throwing darts. Yeah. You cannot look and just hope some of them hit. Yeah. It is what it is. Yeah. I've learned that I need to get, I got some tapes and I got things together now. In my head, I always thought that, from me thinking about it, I'm like, oh man, I need to get my followers up and shit now. And it's like, no, that doesn't necessarily mean that. And so now I'm working on myself more. I'm trying to get more things to give to people now, or more things that I have people remember me by. I have sets and stuff, so I still got my set from the improv. So, I can definitely use that as leverage. I still got a Bob Sumner set that I can go ahead and get out there, but it's just that I actually gotta put the work in, and at this time, I'm the missus don't want me to, and the kid ain't gonna help.
No. But everybody's kind of excited for it because they're like, "Oh man, your writing's gonna be on a different level."
You're gonna have a new hour before you know it.
Yeah, yeah. So I know. I know. I need to put out. I've been lazy in that sense. I can do all this. I can get myself up to LA by myself and everything. But, when it came to actually putting the work in, you can't, ain't nobody going to see your resume if you don't send it out there.
I think that's it. And I think that it's a common misconception that is like I said, there's some gray area here because in the beginning, you should be humble. Your first 5-6 years, if you haven't, there's milestones in comedy. Right? We book, I say we, JP Leonard, shout out to JP at Lafayette Comedy, the godfather of Lafayette Comedy. We do Stone Drunk Sober out there. It's the best showcase in Louisiana for local comics, guaranteed. 150, close to 200 people sometimes for some of the bigger shows. And that is some people's first chance to do 10 minutes in front of a real audience. And so that's a milestone. Yeah. But you don't get there by doing a couple of open mics and reaching out to JP. JP's got to know you can do 10 minutes. Yeah. And so, but what happens is you get new comics on the scene. They start, you see them do 5, they work on their 5, they build their 5. You see their next 5, they put it together, they build it. And then, so we watch them. And then after a while, they start asking, hey, how do I get on Stone Drunk Sober? And it's well, you got to have 10 minutes first and foremost. So hone that, and so you have some scenes where people are being cultivated like that, but that's not going to happen out here in Houston. No. And you've been doing it so long to where you can I feel like you can take a 5-minute killer tape, just start to finish 5 minutes, whatever you would use to submit to a festival, and just send that to a producer and be like,
yeah, I've submitted to one festival, and I submitted to one festival that a friend's like, yeah, man, I got you, man. I do this. I'm the one.
And
I submitted it, and I ain't never hear nothing back, and that was it.
That's the worst.
I ain't never sent shit since.
I was on a festival. I murdered on that festival. I then opened for the guy who runs the festival a couple months later. Murdered opening up for him. He told my mom that I was a very talented person. I did not make the festival the next year.
Oh, shit. What do you think that is, man?
So I actually know what it is specifically.
Yeah.
This guy only likes to bring people every other year.
Oh, okay.
But I just think that it's like funny.
Yes.
I was like, why did you let me submit? You know, like, why didn't you tell me that?
I could have kept my 20, goddamn it. Yeah, things just kind of got away from me after that, just because, like, it's hard for me to hear no, but it's also even harder to hear silence.
Oh, that's, yeah.
You know?
I'll tell you this much. This is a very hard nut for me to crack was Vincent Zambon.
Yeah.
Vincent left me on red for a year. I reached out to Vincent with
Good
a
old
tape
Vinny boy.
for the first time in like 2018. And he just read it and never responded. And then we opened for Robert Kelly together. And he saw me and was like, hey, I'll get you up at the Dragon's Den. And I opened up my messenger to send him a message, and I saw that old message just sitting there. And I was just like, hey, Vincent, it's Tyler. But ever since then, I've been working Dragon's Den.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh,
I work Dragon's Den whenever I want, pretty much.
That's hilarious, because you sent me some people to actually message, and to say when you sent me over, I actually messaged somebody, and they didn't respond or anything like that. And then it would just so happen that I was on a show with them that weekend, and I was like, hey man, what's happening? He was like, hey, you're Tyler's friend, huh? I'm like, yeah, man, what's good? Oh man, you need to come around, man. I'm gonna put you on this.
It's the same thing I was just talking about.
Yeah. I feel you. All right.
But that goes to show you that, like, even vouching for somebody only does so much. You know, everybody's kind of caught up in their own thing, and it's hard to be upset with people, because I didn't realize this till I started being like involved in the production of a few shows, booking a little bit. Mm-hmm. I hate it, first of all. Yeah. I hate dealing with comics. I hate people asking me to be on shows. I hate that. But I get it now. I get this this aggravation that producers have of like people always be in my DMs, you know? It's hard for me to be super upset, but read my message and then be like, let me get back to you.
Yeah. Just give me something. Because I know that you've seen it. It says you've seen it.
Yeah.
Like, you can't give me a thumbs up. Like, an emoji will be fine. A response or something. Like, I hit the lady up because the reason I got on improv was Keisha. She vouched for me to get on the improv. And boom, I went up there. I did my thing. You know, I watched the time and all that. I did good. I had people coming up to me afterwards like, yeah, man, that was fucking good. That comedy shit, that poetry shit. Oh, man, I ain't never seen that. Oh, I love that. I'm like, cool. So I hit up the booker for that spot. Because Dylan was like, hey, man, you this is the lady. I'm like, all right, cool. I hit up. She seen it. She read it. And I'm like, should I not did it through Instagram? Do I need to do it through Facebook? How do I?
What's the avenue? Does she have an email address?
Yeah, like how do I find her? Like you seen me? You the one that knew I was on this show. You can't respond to me. You saw what I did. I was good. Like,
so that's the booker of the improv.
Yeah,
or one show at the improv, or like the talent coordinator in general, or you don't know.
I think she's the person.
Because it was a goal of mine that I'm gonna fail this year was to do a show at the improv, and it was a goal of mine, and this year's gonna go by without me having done it. Anybody out there want to make that happen before the end? Yes, but I watched Sam Morrill and Gary Veeder perform there, and I was just in awe at the room, and so that was like in my head. I was like, I can't wait to be on stage killing here.
Yeah.
And so that's been a thing. So I'm trying to figure out how to get on that Houston as fuck show.
Yeah, that's
or whatever. That's what it was.
That's the one.
So who books it? So that's the girl that books it. The one that left you on red. All right.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Who booked it for me was Keisha Hunt.
All right.
That's like, I don't know nothing about this other lady. So, but I follow her and she follows me now. But it's just like, oh, nice. All right. So I don't know her name, but I'll find it. I'll find it. Yeah, it's gonna be in the memory bank. After a while, it's like, all right, once this baby gets here and this baby start walking and talking, I'm gonna be back on the scene. Goddamn it!
Have you thought about trying to put something together where you're at, so that you could take some of these comics and give them a show where you're at,
in where I stay at?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think there's anything of that caliber.
Nothing.
I'm in the sticks.
It's yeah.
Yeah, we ain't even got a Home Depot where I'm at.
No, like little bars people hang out at and
I
stuff.
don't even know nothing about the bars around there. Like,
and I guess it's not always the best thing to just go wandering into bars in Texas either.
No, not out here.
Yeah,
not out here. Like that shit. That's the reason why I'm in the jail time that I'm in now, because the area that I stay in, like the Walmart's not even close. So I'm like, yeah. I mean, I got land and I got chickens, which is nice, but that's it. Yeah, they ain't nothing else for me in that area. Like when I stayed in the spring, that was an area that I could have probably cultivated and started to pop off, which I tried when I was working for Music Bingo. I had a Music Bingo gig that I was doing, and those motherfuckers, they loved me. They loved what I did. They was like, hey, man, you coming back? Like, because this person don't do it well. Like, they don't do it like you do it. And I'm like, I can't keep doing this. This is fun, but, I don't get paid enough. And, I love the venues that I come to, and I love the people. And, the person that got me this job, this person that this company is for, she's great, but it just wasn't feeling good for me. Like I just hated having to do it every day, getting off of work. Boom, I got to deal with some drunk people at the end of the day. You don't know who's gonna be racist out here in Texas,
dude. For real,
they got a lot of them.
Yeah. If it makes me uncomfortable, I can't imagine what it's like being black here.
Yeah,
because I walk around like what?
I went to certain places and they were just blatant with it. Like, nah, but he's my friend. I can say this. I'm like, I don't think you can.
He's one of the good ones. Yeah. Like, they use that on you? Are you serious?
So they tried to actually throw some comedy shows together and just start paying people. I'm like, this ain't gonna work like this. But also, people ain't gonna want to come all the way out to Spring.
It's true.
Like, so there's areas that you can do this in. In comedy, it's difficult. So then stick to your Music Bingo, and then don't worry, I'm gonna do this over here. And so that made things difficult. But I did get like a good amount of people that came on board with the Maniacal train. So it's just like, oh, this is fun. But once I quit, there was like, we not gonna pay attention like you had us paying attention, Kyle. Like, we don't care about these other people coming to do the music thing. And so I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't continue to do
what you
it.
want me to do. It wasn't worth it.
Yeah, no. I mean, it was fun doing it. It was Music Bingo, which was different. In certain places, give you heavy handshakes. Like these people out there, they're generous with a tip. So that was fun.
That must be good.
Yeah, and then the pandemic hit, and then that kind of rattled things, and it was like, oh, this new person's trying to take over. Maybe, and then it didn't shake off as good as it was before. But it got me to certain things. Like I've done some shit out here trying to stay relative in entertainment. Like I've actually taught kids for a week. Putting in a resume saying that I'm a comedian. This is what I do. They was like, oh, come on, mad scientists put me on. They was like, hey man, come do some mad science for these kids and shit. And I did like 2 shows for some very high priced Indian people. Man, they was like, oh, we like what you doing. Here, take this money. I was like, this is a $50 tip, ma'am. Like, I had to valet my truck.
Wait, what were you doing?
Yeah, it's a place called Mad Science.
Okay.
And basically what they do is they throw birthday parties for kids and everything, but instead of like just normal birthday parties, they bring like science experiments and shit. So like volcanoes, and they teach you about rocks and shit, teach you about gravity and all that. Cool, but they get paid a lot. I don't get paid as
Right.
much. And so, you know, it's like I got to put on for these people. I got to bring all this equipment. Some of it is like hydrochloric acid and shit. So it's like, don't fuck up. And it's like, oh, what? You trusted me with dangerous shit to come out here and teach these kids some shit? You know, so I was able to do that, maybe 1 or 2 shows, teach some kids about some rocks and all that and volcanoes. And then they was like, hey, you want to teach a class? I was like, you mean teach some kids? It was like, yeah, you know, like have a little school, a summer camp for a week. I was like, whatever could get me paid. I'm just trying to work in entertainment. And so they just left me with kids. I was like, you can't leave me with kids, yo. I ain't got no kids. I had like fucking 10, like 9 and 10-year-olds, like from 7 to 11. I had about 10 of them. And every day I had to open up class and teach them about shit and show them experiments and all that for a whole week. I had to get a background check for this. I was like, yo, how y'all don't even know me that well. Like, how you just gonna trust me with these little babies?
Yeah, there's nothing that could go wrong here.
At all. Right. They can't get nothing on their finger that's gonna burn their skin off. Like, nah, it was something else. And at the end of the day, we would just make paper airplanes. And which was fun. It was, but after pandemic hit, I was like, okay, I'm not doing this no more. I don't want to continue doing this. This it was one thing to actually watch over kids and show them something, but it was another thing to have to learn science again. I like science, which is cool, but I had to learn it and then teach it to these little motherfuckers,
and then be responsible for them. That's the worst.
And then be responsible. Oh no, no. I was like, I don't want this type of responsibility on my head. But you know, it was a learning experience.
The things we do for our dreams.
Yeah. So excited. Oh, good. All right, man. This has been good.
I had a lot of fun.
You gave me some gems.
I had a lot of fun, man. This is good.
I'm really gonna go home and think about things now. But before we get out, man, I always like to play with new people a game of choices.
All right.
Yeah. Usually, if you get to the end of the podcast, people hear this. Some people do, some people don't. I get it. You know, that's why I try to keep it to a short to an hour. But a game of choices. Basically, you got 4 choices and 4 options.
Okay.
All right. You got to be one, raise one, sell one, and have relations with the other one.
All right. Be one, raise one, sell one,
and relations with the other one. And your options are a mermaid, a mogwai, a Mexican, and a manatee.
What's the second one?
A mermaid, a mogwai.
I don't know.
Mogwai is Gizmo. You ever seen Gremlins?
Okay. Yes.
Before it changes.
Yes.
That's
okay. I know a mogwai. Okay. I see it now. All right. A mermaid, a mogwai,
a Mexican, and a manatee.
A Mexican and a manatee.
Yes.
I'm gonna be the manatee because I'm already one. So that's easy. I'm just gonna be me. Get that out the way. I'm gonna raise the mogwai. Is that smart?
Yeah. See, it makes you think. 'Cause you don't want to get it wet, but if it does.
Speaking of getting wet, I'm definitely having relations with the mermaid. And what's the kill one?
No, there's no kill. So you're just going to sell a Mexican.
Hey, man. You said it, not me.
Beautiful. Beautiful. There's always a twist and a turn, and it's everybody's thumbprint. And it's like, oh shit, hold on. I've had a friend that actually took 20 minutes because he was like, no, hold on, no, I don't want to do it like that. I don't want to do it like that. Don't cancel me, everybody.
He's scared of making the wrong decision.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll fuck the Mexican. That's progressive as shit, right?
A manatee fucking a Mexican. Hell yeah, that's always so fun. Oh, this is good. Oh man, thank you for being on. Thank you for giving me your time.
Thank you.
Man.
We've been trying to get this together for a while. I'm glad we made it happen, man.
Yes, sir. It is came to fruition.
Heck yeah.
You know, man, I've tried to get so many people. This is difficult, but it just the more and more I've actually been putting the time in, the more people have been willing to come on and actually. Because in the beginning of this, I've been doing this for about 4 years now. So in the beginning of this shit, Like, it was very hard to get people on. Now it's just like, well, hold on. All right, I got this person next, and then I can come and get you, and then we can do this. So it's starting to build even more, and I'm like, fuck yeah, let's keep going. So, man, let everybody know where they can find you at, Tyler.
At the Tyler A on everything. Socials, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, the Tyler A. Venmo, the Tyler A.
There you go. Throw that Venmo out there.
Yeah.
And y'all know where y'all can find me at. You can also email me. They don't never email me. But you can email me at tellmeajokio@gmail.com if you would like to go ahead and send me any questions, or if you want to send your game of choices, or what choices you would pick or whatnot. The only person that emails is my ex, and she just emails me bad things. So it's just like, God damn it. But if anybody's listening, man, tellmeajokio@gmail.com. You can find me at The Maniacal Menace. Don't go to, you got to put the in front, because if you don't, they got this fucking hacker that's out there that's trying to.
He reached out to me and tried to get me to vote for his girlfriend's
makeup.
Yeah.
I'm like, I
was like, Kyle, you need to stop this.
My wife don't even do makeup, and she's my wife now. So it's just like, don't listen to that motherfucker. That is not me. That is not me anymore. He is from Nigeria, and I have his number. So I actually got this motherfucker's number. It's so crazy. But yeah, man, at The Maniacal Menace on Instagram, maniacalmenace.com, Maniacal Menace Comedy. And this has been Tell Me a Joke, the guy out and chasing your dream. I'm your host of Maniacal Menace, Kyle Smith. And until next time, keep dreaming, joking.